One of the most unrealistic and unhealthy concepts pornography consistently displays is high-risk sex. Due to the fact that many adolescents utilize pornography as a sex education method, this is highly concerning. Studies suggest approximately 97% of intercourse in pornography is condomless, while the contraceptive method pornographic actresses utilize is invisible to viewers. This data is further enunciated by a recent study of females aged 14 to 18 in the United States, which found exposure to pornography is associated with a lack of contraceptive use and testing positive for chlamydia. One study went as far to correlate exposure to pornography to teen pregnancy, stating premarital pregnant teenagers were almost 10 times more likely to have had frequent exposure to pornography compared with non-pregnant teenagers. Additionally, sex scenes are often depicted with high-risk acts such as anal sex, group sex, casual partners, and violent acts. The first three of these behaviors are all associated with a heightened risk of STIs. Several STIs can have both immediate and lifelong consequences. Additionally, the high-risk sex acts individuals may participate in may come as an influence of pressure and sexual scripting. Minors risk their physical health at the expense of what would normally be an irregular act that they saw in a film. When minors realize their sexuality in wake of puberty, they naturally begin to become curious about the opposite sex and themselves. Pornography often depicts violence, most of which is directed at female actresses who are scripted to perceive the violence as pleasurable. Additionally, pornography frequently deviates from the notion that sex should occur between two consenting adults. A study conducted of American middle schoolers suggested exposure to pornography is associated with more agreement among girls that others' behavior should conform to traditional gender roles. This is likely due to pornography's tendency to depict women as being submissive, and at times being exploited or manipulated into sexual intercourse. This evidence provides insight into an aspect of the social life of adolescents today and the obstacles they face. Males might feel pressure to appear as dominant, while females might feel pressure to act submissively. While females are more commonly being acknowledged of being victims to objectification and feelings of inadequacy, males may feel similarly. While research primarily focuses on the negative effects of adolescent viewership of pornography, it is vital to consider what may make it beneficial. Contrary to previous claims, pornography may allow an individual to feel more confident in their sexuality and thus increase their self-esteem and sexual competency. Additionally, one study that examined self-perceived effects of pornography found it helped viewers discover their sexual preferences, understand their sexual orientation, gain knowledge of and interest in different sexual acts, and improved attitudes towards sex and the body. Several various other studies found that individuals perceive pornography as instructional, challenging of restrictive gender roles, therapeutic in regard to shame with sexual matters, or helpful in understanding of minority sexual communities. There are solutions that could aid in repairing this crisis that affects a majority of minors nationwide. The first being providing a more substantial form of sex education than what is currently offered. Today, sexual health scholars are in agreement that sex education is a pro-social activity that should be supported and encouraged. Correspondingly, there is strong evidence that sex education that is comprehensive, which means biology, contraceptives, and the social constructs of sex are discussed, helps adolescents delay sex, have healthier sexual relationships, avoid STIs, and avoid teenage pregnancy. Often, sex education is removed from the curriculum altogether, or as within 27 states, students are provided abstinence-based sex education where contraceptive use and safe sex are not discussed. Rather than the national government deciding sex education standards, it is left to individual states. Many of the 27 states previously mentioned are located within a region of the United States informally known as the Bible Belt, where religion has a prominent influence, including New Mexico, Mississippi, Texas, and Arkansas, just to name a few. It is also important to consider that states with the highest teen pregnancy rates lack adequate sex education requirements. New Mexico, Mississippi, Texas, Nevada, Arkansas, and Arizona. All of these states also coincide with states that reported moderate to high rates of chlamydia and gonorrhea in adolescents. The second solution involves political action and parental action. In 2000, the Child's Internet Protection Act was enacted, which required schools and libraries funded by the federal E-rate program to enforce a policy of internet safety. However, since CIPA, Congress has made little effort to further protect children from exposure to online pornography. One activist proposes further action by Congress to pass new legislation regarding monetary incentives to ISPs and MDPs who provide default filtering. In the meantime, it is suggested that parents take action within their homes to prevent their children from accidentally or deliberately accessing pornography. All computers and all cellular devices are now equipped with the ability to block adult content on the internet and through applications. Adolescent consumption of pornography could lead to short-term and long-term impacts of an adolescent's mental, physical, and social health. It is vital to consider the significance of the term porne and how its translation is a direct representation of pornography today, with its paid actors and actresses and the violence that is exhibited in its content. It is critical to understand the mental health deficits that come with pornography viewership, including minors' impressionability and pornography's tendency to exacerbate mental illness, to encourage subconscious sexual scripting, and the possibility of addiction. It is imperative to consider the physical health repercussions, such as high-risk sex that can lead to STIs, teen pregnancy, and general physical harm. It is also essential to consider the social harms pornography can cause adolescents, such as the warping of gender relations. This topic is significant in that it impacts a majority of American adolescents and is a growing emergency that is rarely discussed. Acceptance of humans' innate inclination towards sexuality is imperative if we are to move forward. The potential solutions to this issue are uncomplicated and easy to implement. It is our job as Americans to help minors discover their sexuality through healthy and natural channels. We can do this by preventing minors from viewing pornography and providing a healthy and open atmosphere for discussions about sexuality. Adopting a resolution to this problem is the next step in creating a healthier future for America's youth.
While sex was a part of their daily routine, so was rape. The ancient Greeks took this into consideration.